So hi, I'm Kelly. I'm an independent planner and facilitator, and we're here today to visit one of the 3 models that was developed through individualized residential funding through the Housing Task Force. We're here to meet Jonathan and his family today. Jonathan lives in the downstairs basement portion of the home. The family has separated in 2, and they have 2 live-in caregivers residing with Jonathan to support him. Hi, Imelda. Nice to see you. Let's talk a little bit about Jonathan's model. What have you created for Jonathan?
Well, Jonathan's model is an individualized one as part of the York Region project, which is more a demonstrative, collaborative project. And what we've done is it's innovative in the sense that it's individualized. It allows Jonathan to have his own space, which is his personal apartment within our residence, with a separate entrance coming in, and having to be independent on his own in keeping with around-the-clock caregiver support.
Jonathan is looked after really well because he has the staff complement to provide him the 24-hour care that he needs. He also is happy and quite content with the arrangement that we had provided him.
Yeah.
And one of the key benefits I see is that gradually it's allowing Jonathan to be more independent and less reliant on his parents. And so it wouldn't be traumatic when the day comes when we're no longer able to provide support for him. So to me, that's one of the big things about it. And also he has become adapted to the routine very nicely because it's very gradual.
Most importantly, we're fortunate to be able to establish a microboard, and it's a very good support for Jonathan. And we are the members, the directors of the microboard are our own family. Our 2 girls and their spouses, and Jonathan and Ray and I.
Yes, well, the microboard, the key benefit is succession planning. The directors on the microboard get familiar with Jonathan's daily routine. They also get familiar with how everything works because they ultimately would have oversight to ensure that he receives the care that he needs when we are no longer able to. So that's really the key, and we've established a couple of things to make it work really well. One of them is that the board itself, each person is able to go on a Google Drive and see all the details that are required for Jonathan's full care. And it would have videotapes of how he's fed, how his exercises are performed, how you make his meals, what are the safety precautions you take, the entire plethora of everything that has to do with making him have a comfortable and better life. I usually say to people in general that accomplishing anything of significance takes time and patience. It's also hard work and commitment. But so you have to start slowly and do a little at a time. If you look at it from the big picture, you may give up. So you want to start with, it could be one recipe, it could be one procedure, everything in small doses, and you'd be amazed usually what you can accomplish in a given time when you look back on it. We were fortunate that in our jobs and in growing up, we developed good discipline and attention to details. So we are always attentive to Jonathan's needs, and we are good at making notes, taking note of little things, because usually for success, it's not necessarily knowing what there is to do, but it's all the little details that play a big part in helping you get to a goal. So we started very slowly, and we're very fortunate to also have Kelly, who helps her. She's been tremendous to us. We would definitely not have moved ahead as quickly as we have had it not been for her. So it helps to have a good person planning and facilitating the project as well. Right?
Jonathon is very routine. He's very structured, and we try to follow through on what we have started. And when we started this Y-Wait program, or this pilot study, we started thinking of how we can maximize the funding that's being provided to us, and how can we improve Jonathon's quality of life using these funds. And so we started looking at activities and where he can go during the summer, where we can take him any other time of the year, who will be good support for Jonathon, who are his friends, who can we invite, on special occasions or even any time during the year, who's available. What type of activities would benefit him. Equipment, we researched on equipment that he needs, anything to make his place comfortable as well.
And we do things gradual. We tested it by staying out one night to see how we would manage what we need to take and what we forgot to take, and so on. And then the second trip, this was all in 2017, we spent 2 nighs. So one of the keys, I think, to being successful is you have to take time and do things gradually. And most people want to get there in a hurry. Well, our model, as it is today, is a little different to the original. Originally, we were going to co-share either a home or have 2 apartments joined together with another family. We decided on having Jonathon have a less traumatic move, because that's quite traumatic. He'd be away totally from the family. And instead, what we did was we made renovations so that he can have his own access to the basement apartment as his own for himself and round-the-clock caregivers. We're looking ahead in the future and recognize that it would be nice if Jonathon had his own little home on the ground level so that we don't have to have lifts. Because one of the issues we had recently is the lift breaking down and having to physically lift him out of the wheelchair from the lift and waiting for service to come. So in the next 5 years or so, what we're hoping is to do an extension to this home, separate for Jonathon, so that he has his own little, say, 1-bedroom home pad with the basement renovated for his own caregivers, so that he is pretty much as independent on his own as we can do. That would be as least traumatic as it is, and a nice step in the forward direction. But that's how it is with planning. You take it one step at a time and move ahead. Okay, I would make it 2 little pieces of information. One is always try to practice maintaining a positive outlook. The first thing we tend to do when we're confronted with stress is we think negative. But we should be thinking, well, okay, what is it that there's always something good in every situation, and focus on that. The other thing to remember, which I've mentioned earlier, is anything that you want to achieve of any significance takes time. It takes hard work too, and it takes commitment. You really have to work at it, but you have to work at it in a positive way with a positive outlet, and don't think negative. just think, yes, there's a way. We just have to find that way.
I think, just like anything else, you have to live within your means. Don't force yourself to look out there for bigger things. Just do what you can do right at the moment.
Yeah. The only other thing I would add to what Imelda said regarding you're in a box and what are you going to do is that here's your situation and you feel that you're at wit's end as it is, but you still need to think ahead and 5-10 years from now, what will it be like? Because if you're not thinking ahead as well and planning ahead, you tend to make decisions that are quick fix.
Yeah, Jonathon usually will be vocal, like he in his own way. And soon as when we're talking as a family, and we mentioned about, oh, you're going to be with a partner and you're going to be in a nice condo, we're going to get you a nice condo. And he probably knows that it's far away. It's not next door. And you should see that he did not kind of talk or be vocalized like what he's doing now. And he was just very quiet that we didn't know what's wrong. I thought he's in pain or he has the flu. But so it went on for about a week or so. And then, of course, the conversation died down and we were planning. And it took about a few months before we realized that we probably won't do it. Actually, we were already looking for condos. We found one that probably would be suitable. And so we were excited, but he wasn't. So when Kelly came for us to meet here, and Jonathon, I think, was with us upstairs, Kelly said, why don't you just get Jonathon to stay here with you and have the basement, be his pad. And Ray and I both lighted it up and said, yeah, that's a good idea. And so we started planning renovations and stuff. And Jonathon also is always with us, and he hears what we are talking about. And from then on, his face would light up, and he would just be bright and back to normal.
Mm-hmm.